Okay, hello. Um, I had no intention of sprinting today, but I came home from work early because I feel really not good. So I decided that I was just going to sit on my couch and read all day. So that's what we're doing. I honestly don't expect like many people to show up because this is so last minute, but I thought it'd be fun. I don't know. Um, yeah, I have nothing else to do, so might as well get some reading done. Hey, Rye. Hope your PCR test and everything went okay. I don't know if you've done it yet, but yeah. Um, I am going to be reading that this is upside down. The Crimson Crown by Cinda Williams Chima. This is the fourth and final book in the Seven Realms series, which I feel like I talk about all the time on my channel. Um, I love the series. It's so good. If you need like a solid YA, like political military fantasy, like this is the series to pick up. Hello, hello. Let me know what you guys are reading in the chat. I'd love to know. Hey. Ooh, okay. Cool, cool. Okay, gotcha. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, it all comes back okay. Um, you should be fine. Positive thoughts. You'll be fine. um, okay. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do a first sprint because yeah, because that's what we're here for. We're sprinting. Okay. Um, the overnight guest. Okay. Cool, cool. All right. We can do like 30 minutes. I feel like that's solid. But yeah, let's do a quick 30-minute sprint and then we'll be back. Okay, welcome back. Let me know how your sprint went in the chat. Got to eat lunch and then I'll be reading The Isle of the Lost. Ooh, hopefully you finish it soon. Maybe you did in the last sprint already, or you will in the coming sprints, but hello, hello. Oh, hello, Marissa. And thank you. I hope I feel better too. Just got here. Hope you're doing well. I'm not sure what to read yet. I'm at home with COVID, so I'm glad we have some reading sprints. Oh, I'm so sorry you have COVID. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, hopefully it's a good time to catch up on your reading. Um, yeah, I also came home from work early, not because of COVID, but I just don't feel well. So it's always a good time to sprint and read when you're at home doing nothing else. Hello, good afternoon. My guys had it back at Thanksgiving. Oh, well, I hope you feel better. Dang, everyone's getting sick around the same time. It's weird. But I got about 30 pages read in the last sprint, and I'm finally actually getting into my book, which is cool. I wasn't really getting into it. It's like when you leave a series for too long and then you come back and you have no idea what's going on in the world. So, yeah. Um, just joined, gonna get back into Mexican Gothic, was sick all weekend, too tired to even hold a book. Oh, that sucks. Um, how do you feel now? I mean, I'm sure you feel a little better if you can hold your book, but yeah. And I only have 13 pages. Well, hopefully in the next sprint you'll be able to finish it. Do you know what you're gonna pick up next? And also, how are you liking that? I've actually never heard of the Isle of the Lost. I'm gonna look it up because it's probably a book that I've seen before and then I just don't. Okay, I think I have seen this before. Okay. But yeah, how are you liking it? Oh, yes. I hope everyone is feeling okay. And if you're not, I hope everybody feels better. But yeah, I also have sprints on Kirsten's channel from Kirsten's Corner in like less than 4 hours. So I'm probably going to sprint until then and then hop on that. And maybe we'll finish this whole book today. Who knows? But it's like 600 pages long, so I'm not getting my hopes up. Feeling much better, still coughing, will be going back to work tomorrow. Okay, that's better. Yeah, coughs take a really long time to go away, but if that's your only symptom, then um, I'm glad you're feeling better, and hopefully that cough goes away soon. I literally had a cough for like 2 months one time, and it was just the worst thing ever. So hopefully yours is better than mine. I think I decided on reading Akatar. Ooh, I'm excited for you. I love Akatar. So it's a middle grade fantasy. The Descendants movies were based off the series. I'm liking a lot. My only problem right now is the typos. Ooh, yeah. Sometimes I'll find typos in books. I'm like, did this not get edited? Like, did no one catch this? Especially when it's like traditionally published, because when things like that happen in like self-pub books, I let it slide a little bit because they just don't have the same amount of times like the book was edited or whatever. So it like kind of makes sense. But when it's traditionally published, I'm like, who was editing this? Because someone didn't do their job. Um, but yeah, but I mean, it doesn't change the quality of the book, but it is still like definitely a little annoying. Um, I'm trying to figure out how you can like share your screen to do the timer because I hate just popping in here and being like, "Hey, the sprint's over." Like I'd rather have like the timer go off, you know? So, yeah. I don't know what I want to read next. I think I want to read a YA or adult since I've read almost 14 middle grades this month. Oh my gosh. Well, nothing wrong with that. I really enjoy middle grades, but yeah, I've been reading a lot of adult lately, so having a YA right now is really nice. Um, yeah, I've just been reading a lot of new adult books, and they're really intense and draining. And even though this is like a pretty intense, like political fantasy book, I feel like I'm still reading it a lot like quicker, and it's definitely not as intense as the adult books, and it's definitely not as gruesome. So I think it's perfect for when my brain is like really foggy, like it is right now. Um, because when the sprint first started, like my brain is so just not here that I reread the same page like 3 times. So, but slowly getting better. Um, Also, how was the 30-minute sprint for everyone? Because I usually do 30 minutes, but a lot of the sprints that I've been watching lately, a lot of people do like longer sprints, and I don't know if that's like what the vibe is, like 45 minutes. I feel like that could be a thing that we can do, but I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out this freaking timer situation because I also don't feel like doing math to figure out like how many minutes later, like so let's see. I found a timer online, so that's not the issue. But like how do I don't know. I'm so happy I love Akatar. I haven't read this thick of a book since middle school Twilight days a whole. I actually still haven't ever read Twilight. I've been wanting to do like reading Twilight for the first time as a 21-year-old video for like a year. So still hasn't happened, but I really don't know if I want to pick up Twilight. But I feel like it would make a funny vlog, but I have been pushing it off because I really don't want to read it. So yeah, no, Akatar is really good though. I feel like the first book is so different from like the rest of the series, which is kind of how I feel about like Throne of Glass too. Um, but it just gets so much better. But the first book is really solid. I personally like the shorter sprints. I love a good 45-minute sprint. Like 20 to 35 minutes, I think is perfect. I like shorter sprints as well. Okay, I think I'll keep it for, we'll keep like 30 minutes. I feel like that is in the middle. It's not too long, it's not too short. So we'll, we'll keep 30 minutes. Um, hmm. Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out this. Let's see if see if this works. How do I can share my screen? Okay, interesting. Did that work? Is that a thing that's working? I have no idea. Okay, I think I figured it out. I'm really proud of myself because I am not tech savvy, like at all. So this is really exciting. But we can go ahead and do another sprint and hopefully this works. If not, I'll do some math and put like I usually do, like when we read till, but let's try it out. Let's try out the timer. Okay. I will see you guys in 30 minutes. Okay, how was everybody's sprint? I slightly changed positions because I'm not like weak, but sitting up for that whole time, it was a lot. So I wanted to lay down, but I read another like 30-ish, 32 pages. Um, so yeah, this book is going by pretty quickly. It reads relatively fast, like the font is really big and stuff. So um, yeah, but let me know how your sprint went. Also, I definitely liked the timer because I wasn't worried about like making sure to come back on time. So that was pretty cool. But okay, so the timer worked. That's awesome. Hi, currently reading The Man Who Died Twice. Ooh, what is this about? I'm gonna look it up. The Man Who Died Twice. Okay, it seems like a kind of murder mystery. Interesting. How are you liking it so far? 11 pages. Awesome. Just joined. Well, hello, welcome. I'm reading The Love Hypothesis. Ooh, I feel like everyone I've seen who has read this book has given it 5 stars, but I don't know if I would like it. I feel like it seems like it's too like lovey for me. Especially I'm pretty sure it has like a fake dating trope, and sometimes like it depends on how they're done, but most of the time I find them like really annoying. Um, so I don't know if I would like it, but let me know if you're enjoying it because I know I'm definitely in the minority. And most people seem to enjoy that book. So I read 6 pages after I cleaned up hot chocolate with marshmallows. I dumped it all over myself. Oh no! Well, are you okay? I hope you didn't burn yourself. That sounds horrible, but that's so annoying. Um, and the blanket into my slippers. Oh, dang. That sucks. Yeah, I was thinking about making like a cup of tea or something. So I feel like that's like what you do when you're sick is you make tea. I don't know. I don't really know. But I am very clumsy. So I feel like this is something that I would do. So really enjoying it so far. That's awesome. I'm glad you're liking it. It sounds really interesting and it has like a really high rating on Goodreads when I just checked. So that's good. Yay! Oh my gosh, how did you like it? Tell us the star rating, everything, all of that fun stuff. Hi, just joining. We'll be reading One to Watch by Kate Stamen London. Is that the Bachelor-esque type one? If I'm thinking of the right one, because I feel like this was a book of the month pick. Yeah, seems like a plus size bachelorette type of situation. Interesting. Are you just starting it or have you been reading it? And if you've been reading it, let me know how you're liking it. I'm fine. It wasn't that hot, but very sticky. Well, I'm good. I'm glad you didn't burn yourself, but oh my gosh, that must be such a hassle to clean up, like especially because you got it like everywhere. But the most important thing, how is your book? Is your book okay? Because you said you dumped it on your book as well. Are the pages okay? Did she survive? Um, yeah, if I had dumped anything on my books, like I think I would just start crying and order another copy because that would make me really sad. Speaking of ordering books, you guys, I went to, so yesterday it was like 80 degrees outside. It was really nice. You know, the wind was blowing. It was the beautiful weather. So I decided to go for a walk. And I live like a 15-minute walk away from Half Price Books. So already really dangerous because I can just like drive over in like 2 seconds. But I decided to go for a walk and I walked all the way to Half Price Books and I was like, I'm here. Let me sneak a peek. Let me just go inside. I ended up buying the entire Expanse series because I have the first 3 books So I have Leviathan Wakes, Sibylla Byrne, and Abaddon's Gate, or not Sibylla Byrne, Caliban's War and Abaddon's Gate, the first 3 books. And somebody had sold their entire, like all 9 books, including the final like 9th one that came out a few months ago. So I bought all the ones that I didn't have, except for the 9th one because it was um hardcover, and all my other ones are paperback. But someone needs to take my credit card away because I literally went for a walk and I ended up buying books. Like, how does that happen? I don't know. I think I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I also think I might need to pick up the next book in this series because it ended on a cliffhanger. This is why I like buying all the books in a series after I read the first one, because if I don't like the first one, then I don't want to waste my money. But yeah, after I pick up the first book in a series, I tend to buy the rest of it if I liked it so that I can binge it, because I feel like especially with fantasy, which is like what I read majority of the time, there's a lot of cliffhangers. So got to part 3 of Addie LaRue and my interest is finally peaked. Yes. Okay, I love Addie LaRue so, so much. And I'm like not really a character driven reader, so that was really surprising for me how much I loved this book. But yeah, I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books of all time, but a lot of people have the same issue, which is like it doesn't really pick up until um, the second half. So, but I'm glad your interest is finally peaked, and I hope you enjoy it because I just loved Addie. I loved her character, and just going through like 100 years with her was so much fun. She did survive. I don't have the dust jacket on, so I could wipe her off quickly a few pages. Okay, that's good. That makes me feel better. I also feel like I need a break from this world, so I don't know yet. Yeah, I feel like that's hard. Like right after you finish it, you're like emotionally ready to dive into the next one because of the cliffhanger, but you're like, maybe you need like a palate cleanser. Like if you have like a really short book, I usually, if I am kind of stuck in the middle, I'll pick up like a manga or a graphic novel. Or I usually have like multiple books going on at the same time. So I'll read like a chapter or 2 of the other book, and then I'll decide like what I'm in the mood for. So maybe try that out. There's some chocolate covered areas on the edges, but it's okay. I didn't buy it. I got it from a little library. Okay. That that's better. That's good. I started yesterday and I'm already like 160 pages in, so I'm really enjoying it. But as someone who's also plus size, the fat phobic comments are frustrating. Hmm. That's Yeah, I feel like a lot of times I get why those comments would be in the book if the author is trying to show how society just like sucks, but I can definitely see it must be really frustrating to read. So, yeah, I've definitely had issues with like reading certain books and having like racist comments in them, and that really triggers me. So, I kind of feel you on this, but hopefully it's not too bad. It's not like hindering your experience like too much. I mean, it seems like you're enjoying it, so that's good. But yeah, I think the concept of it is pretty cool. Like having a plus size bachelorette, just like that concept is interesting. Just because I'm not a huge like bachelor bachelorette franchise person. Like I think I've only watched one season of The Bachelor, and I think it was in like 8th grade. So, um, and I didn't really like it. I thought it just wasn't for me. Um, but one of the issues that I had with it was that everyone just was so like picture perfect. And I was like, this is just so unrealistic. Like we're the normal humans. So I really did like the idea when Book of the Month came out with this book, because that's how I heard about it. To have like some sort of representation in that regard. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I I kind of want to switch to my Kindle book because I'm also reading The Bridge Kingdom right now and I'm really really liking it. It's more of like a guilty pleasure read than something I would really push on people or think it's like really quality, you know? I just feel like it's just fun. It's entertaining. Something I might switch to that, but I'm also liking this. And I also have an audiobook. So I don't know, but if y'all are interested, I'm also listening to the audiobook of Restless Slumber, which is the second book in the Fortuna Sworn series by KJ Sutton. Um, I I reread Fortuna Sworn last week because it was the book club pick for my book club. I think it was our very first pick, and I gave it like a 3 stars. I thought it was okay, and I liked it. But for some reason, when KJ Sutton came out with her announcement that she's having a new book come out in August, not even part of the series. Like it's not part of Fortuna Sworn, but she came out with the announcement that she has a new book coming out, and I just had this sudden urge to binge the entire Fortuna Sworn series. So I reread or re-listened to the first one, and now I'm listening to the second one. I have all of them on Scribd, so I think I'm just gonna binge that series this week, and it's gonna be a good time. It's like if you like ACOTAR, you would like Fortuna Sworn. It's very, very similar. I think I'll start the second book in the To All the Boys series, or a book called Folded Notes in High School, which is set in the 80s. It's about notes that high schoolers um, pass to each other over 4 years. Interesting. I read the first To All the Boys book, like the original To All the Boys I loved before, um, and it was good, but I never had a desire to continue. So if you end up picking up the second one, let me know how you like it because I might actually continue on with that trilogy. The Notebook. I've never read a Nicholas Sparks. The only Nicholas Sparks book, actually, I own The Last Song and Safe Haven. So I own two Nicholas Sparks books. And Safe Haven is actually like my favorite movie of all time. And when I watched it, I didn't know that it was a Nicholas Sparks like adaptation. So I've never read the book, but I own it and I really want to read it. But I'm just scared that I'm not going to love it as much as I love the movie because it's literally like not my favorite. It's like it's up there. Like it's not going to be like Interstellar, you know, but I love that movie. One to watch is also my guilty pleasure read since I also don't watch anything Bachelor, but at least the main character is interesting. Yeah, I feel like if I were to ever enjoy a concept like The Bachelor, it would be in a book form. Like I don't see myself liking the TV show at any point in my life, which sucks because I know so many people who have like fun, cute little like bachelor watch parties and like they all get together every like what is like Monday night. And I'm like, couldn't be me because I don't like them. But yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and do another sprint. Because it's 2:10. It's like an even number. Well, it's 2:10 my time, but yeah. So we'll do another 30-minute sprint and I'll see you guys in a little bit. how was everybody's sprint? I think I read like another 30 pages and also responded to some emails because I couldn't help it. Um, but yeah, I'm making really good progress in this. I'm on page 181 now, and I really want to get halfway through by the time I finish sprinting. So we'll see. It's 598 pages. So that's like page 300 for me to hit the halfway point, which is I've got a ways to go. So we'll see if I can get there, but that's kind of my goal, and then making a lot more progress in it later tonight when I sprint on Kristen's channel. But yeah, we'll see. I am still tempted to pick up the Bridge Kingdom, but the Crimson Crown just got a little interesting, so I think I'm gonna stick to reading that for the rest of the time. But yeah, let me know how y'all sprint went and how much you read and all of that fun stuff. I didn't read anything because I'm indecisive. That is fair. I am also the same way. So honestly, flip a coin between which, because you had a few options, right? 3 options, just tell Siri to pick one for you. That's what I do. Or don't read. That too. That's always an option. I'm finishing up some emails for work for the day, and then I'm clocking out and starting to read. Yay, that's exciting. Yeah, I usually work until 5 p.m. and so being home right now is really strange because I only work from home 2 days a week, Thursdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so being home on a Monday is really strange. And then I was also on PTO on Friday, and being home all day was also very strange. 11 pages, had to get another blanket, and was looking to see what to make for dinner. Ooh, what are your dinner plans if you have figured that out? I'm reading Ember in the Ashes, 55% of the way in. Catherine, how are you liking it? I love the Ember in the Ashes series. I'm reading A Reaper at the Gates in April, which, by the way, my April TBR just went live, I think. I'm going to double check because I had it scheduled to go live 43 minutes ago, and I want to make sure that it went through. Okay, cool, yeah. So my April TBR just went up. So I talk about An Ember in the Ashes in that, but I loved it. And A Torch Against the Night, in my opinion, is even better because the first one I feel like is a lot of buildup, and then the second one's just like jam-packed with stuff, which I loved. And there's just so many twists and turns. I love the military aspect of it, just so good. I read 17 pages. Nice. Good progress. I gave my bestie some options early in the week because I couldn't decide. She picked this one. Yeah. Have someone else decide for you. That's always a good option. Not usually, I've only done this a few times, but when I don't know what to pick, I'll just see like the few that call to me, and then I'll just have my Instagram followers pick it for me because I'm indecisive as well. And it's nice to just have someone else pick it for you and then you just go with it. And you don't really have to use your brain. Also, I feel like I'm talking either really, really slow or really, really fast. But that's again because my brain is so foggy. I'm just like lying down. I almost fell asleep during the last sprint, to be honest. So I might need to end these earlier than I was anticipating and take a nap before Kirsten sprints because I don't know if I'm going to be able to go for like another, I don't even know when those sprints are going to end, but another few hours without falling asleep. I'm liking it so far. I really agree with the build-up, but it's okay because it's allowing me to get to know the characters. Yeah, I feel like I really liked that it was like a build-up book, like a really good setup book, but it didn't like drag in that way. Like, I feel like it was still really, really entertaining. It is, like, a little tropey because it's YA, so it's, like, kind of to be expected, but I feel like it's a really good, not that there's anything wrong with YA, but I feel like it's a really good YA book. I'm just really used to, like, the super intricacies of adult, and so I was really surprised with how the first 2 books played out in this series. So I'm excited to get to A Reaper at the Gates. I also have A Sky Beyond the Storm, so I'm hoping I might actually just finish the whole quartet in April because I only have the last 2 books left, but we'll see. Leftover or gratin potatoes with smoked sausage in it, cucumbers, carrots, and going to make beer bread. Ooh, that sounds like a very fancy meal. I think I'm gonna eat ramen. So, yeah, I did cook some really good tacos yesterday. So that was cool. I brought them for lunch, but obviously I didn't even stay at work until lunch. But I did eat them right before these sprints, and they were pretty good if I do say so myself. But today I cannot be bothered to cook. That just seems like way too much work. So much secondhand embarrassment in this book, but I guess it's not as bad as the fat phobic comment. Oof. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Interesting. I think you said that it was a guilty pleasure. Yeah. Definitely sounds like it with because secondhand embarrassment, fat phobic comments, but it's still like a good time. So that's kind of how I'm feeling with the Bridge Kingdom. Not that there's like any like bad comments or stuff in there, but I just feel like it's such an easy read and it's just entertaining. Like it's just pure entertainment and not in like the typical romancy type of way because it's a fantasy romance. I really do like the world and it's like I'm not a smut reader and so I like at least right now that there's not a lot of that in here. Um, it's just there's so much tension, and the politics is really interesting. The world is really cool. So I'm actually really surprised that I'm liking the Bridge Kingdom because I didn't think that I would. Like it did not seem like it was my cup of tea. So, but I think I'm gonna um, continue on with the series because I know it's a duology, but then there's like a spin-off series or something like that, like another duology. I don't really know, but I am going to continue with all the books in the world because I am really liking it. And it's on Kindle Unlimited. So getting to read it for free, which is fun because the Kindle that I got, um, which I talk about in my weekly reading blog, but that doesn't go up until Thursday. So I did get a Kindle and it came with 3 months of Kindle Unlimited for free, which was pretty cool. So I've been reading a lot of Kindle books as well, but yeah, I'm like out of breath. Like this is I don't know what is going on. Like I know it's not COVID. Like mm, um but I just feel like I'm just tired. I need to like sleep for 10 hours, but I think I will be napping later, but yeah. The politics is getting even more intense in this because we're getting like different characters, like who we can trust, who we can't. And there's like a council, and we're about to have a vote to see who gets a certain position. And I'm really interested to see like who votes for who because even though you have like alliances before the vote, right? Like you try to convince everyone to vote for you or vote for the person that you're supporting, and it never works out that way. Someone always changes their vote. Things always go awry, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out. I feel like it's going to be really interesting, but yeah. I think I'm going to do another sprint. I'll probably stick with the 30 minutes. I feel like that's just solid. Um, so yeah, we're gonna do another 30-minute sprint. I'm gonna do some like chore stuff and like just take care of some things around the apartment, and then I will read. But let's do another 30 minutes. Okay, hello. How was everybody's sprint? I didn't read as much as the previous ones because I got a little distracted, but I passed the 200-page mark, so I'm pretty pleased. And I should be able to get to like 250 in the next sprint, I'm hoping. Um, so that should be pretty fun. I'm glad that I was able to make some progress because I think I read a total of 70 pages in like the last 3 days of that book. So I really need to get a move on with it. Because you have some videos to film. Well, have fun at filming. I know you sent this a little bit ago, but have fun filming. Hopefully I'll still be here by the time you're back. I'm planning on still doing maybe like one more sprint. I think at like 4, I'm gonna take a nap for like an hour before my other sprints. But yeah, read 20 pages this time. That's awesome. I feel like I'm like a really slow reader, and so a lot of times I'll read like 10 pages in one sprint, depending on the book, and everyone else will be like, I read 50 pages, and I'm like, couldn't be me. So having this book where the font is like, it's pretty big, and so and saying like, oh, I read 30 pages in 30 minutes, like I feel so accomplished, but it's like the same reading speed as normal, just less words. So I read 9 pages of The Tempest for school and 10 pages of Love and Other Words. I've heard so many good things about Love and Other Words. I feel like this is a lot of people's favorite Christina Lauren book. I think the only thing I've read by them is In a Holidays, and I actually liked it, which is strange because a lot of people didn't like that book. But I thought it was fun. Like I thought it was a fun winter holiday romance. And I don't usually read romance, so like take my opinion with a grain of salt. But how are you liking Love and Other Words? I'm curious. 14 pages. I feel like I'm reading at turtle speed. 14 pages is greater than 0, and that's all that matters. So, yeah, I feel like I just sound so freaking tired. Like I'm struggling just to talk, which is not fun. Especially considering I probably have to talk for another like 2-3 hours during the next sprints at like 5. So that should be quite interesting. But I really do think I'm going to be able to get halfway through this book tonight, which will put me in a good place because I really want to finish this before Thursday, I think is when March ends. Because I don't want to drag any books that I'm reading in March into April because I want to start fresh for the Realmathon. Let me know if you guys are participating in the Realmathon. If not, you totally should. It's starting on April 1st. Just literally Google that or look up Cassidy's channel, just Covers with Cassidy. She's hosting a really, really cool readathon next month. You guys should totally check it out. It's raining and windy right now, and it's giving me reading vibes, so I might just read for the rest of the afternoon. That is such a vibe. I usually have some kind of like ambiance playing in the back. Not like music, but like fireplace, or like rain, like thunderstorm vibes. I usually do like Harry Potter rooms, like ASMR type stuff on YouTube while I'm reading, but today I'm already struggling to read, and I was like, I don't need any distractions. Like I don't need any vibes. I just need to focus on the words. So it's really quiet in my apartment right now. It's really good so far. I'm just getting into reading romance books, and I'm so glad I picked this one up. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. If you end up liking it, maybe I'll pick it up because I also don't tend to read romance books. But I am curious in branching out to other genres. I feel like I am going to really love horror. I feel like that's a genre that could intrigue me. Um, I bought this. Hold on, I'll show you guys. I went to Half Price Books, like I was saying earlier, and along with the whole series, I bought this book, which, first of all, this looks so creepy. Like, what is this monstrosity right here? And it's like a subterranean horror book, which my biggest fear in the entire world is sharks and like the deep water. And so I thought this would scare me a ton. So I feel like I'm going to get into horror, but it has to be like the the right vibes of horror. So if you have any horror recs, let me know because I really want to get into the genre. I already really like thrillers, but I like super twisted thrillers. So some of them just don't hit right for me. But I am trying to branch out, but I will always love fantasy. I will always mostly read fantasy. That's just my cup of tea. I am participating in the Ramathon too. I chose the Bale team. I am also on Team Bale, so we can destroy all the other realms and be the last magic standing. Yeah, I'm really excited, especially because Bale's um, subcategory is a fantasy romance, and I have so many fantasy romance books that I want to read that I'm just squeezing all of them in the month of April. I don't know if I'm gonna get sick of them, but right now the plan is just to read a ton of fantasy romance to get bonus points, and also because I want to eventually make a fantasy romance recommendation type video, but I feel like I haven't read enough really good ones to actually compile a list. I've read quite a few, but some of them just weren't good. I don't want to recommend them. So I'm trying to use this month and this readathon as an excuse to get a bunch of fantasy romance books in because I really want to read The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I want to read A Touch of Darkness and King of Battle and Blood, which is Scarlett St. Clair's newest release. There's just so many fantasy romances that I want to read. I'm reading The Bridge Kingdom. I might pick up the second book. I think it's also on Kindle Unlimited next month as well. So lots of fantasy romance. Yes, love it so much. I'm actually thinking, or I'm trying to plan when to bring back my book club. If you guys don't know, we got Fan Row Book Club, which is my fantasy romance book club. And I definitely want to bring that back at some point, probably the month after Ramathon. Um, But the thing with fantasy is that majority of them are series, even fantasy romances, majority of them are series, and I don't want to just read the first book and then move on. That's what I've been doing, and I just don't like that. So I'm trying to play around with everything and plan out having fantasy romance series at a time, doing a book a month of the same series until we finish the series, something like that. But it just takes a lot of planning, and I just don't have a ton of time on my hands right now. So I'm trying though. Oh my gosh, from Italy? Wait, that's so cool. I feel like I'm so lame just living in the US. The coolest thing about me is that I lived in Canada for a few years. Not a few years, 9 years, but Italy, that is so cool. I've always wanted to visit Venice, since I was younger, which I feel like is such a strange like place to want to visit when you're 10. But for some reason, anytime someone asks me where do you want to live, what's your dream vacation, anything like that, I would just say Venice. And I to this day have no idea why. But I still haven't gone. I still want to. So I definitely want to visit Italy at some point. And that would be really cool. But ooh, love a Canadian. I lived in Toronto, which was really fun, but really cold. It's crazy that I actually want to look it up because I'm curious to see the weather difference. Um, My weather app is still in Celsius though, because even though I've lived in the US for 8, 7 years, 7 years, I think, 7 or 8 years, I still can't function in Fahrenheit. It just doesn't work. So right now in Toronto, it's -6 degrees Celsius, and where I live, it's 29 degrees Celsius. That's ridiculous. So for Fahrenheit reference, that's 22 degrees in Toronto versus 84 where I live, which is just insane how it's below freezing there. And it's supposed to rain, or not rain, snow later today in Toronto, apparently, according to this app. And here it hit um 90s, the 90s this weekend, which was crazy. Like it was literally like 35, 30, no, not 35, like 32 degrees Celsius this weekend, which was insane. But ooh, I love Toronto. Definitely want to visit. I might be visiting this summer, which will be the first time that I ever go back since I lived there, which would be pretty cool. Just got done filming. Yay, welcome back. You're right on time because I think I'm gonna do one final sprint before I hop off and take my nap, my well-deserved nap. But yeah, let's do one last 30-minute sprint. Hopefully I can get to page 250 or at least close to it. I feel like that will give me some random sense of accomplishment. I don't know, but yeah, I will see you guys in 30 minutes. Okay, welcome back. How was everyone's sprint? I did not get to page 250, but I got to page 239. So, still pretty happy with that. I feel like that's close enough. Super annoyed because I had already filmed my TBR. It was edited and ready to be posted, and I accidentally deleted my footage. Oh no, that is so frustrating. I've done that like more times than I care to admit. So yeah, I always accidentally delete my footage because I take, especially for like my reading vlogs, I take like random thumbnail clips like throughout the week to kind of screenshot and put into like the collage thing that I do. And I always end up deleting clips because I think that they're those like thumbnail ones and I've already screenshotted and then it's actual footage and just whatever. Yeah, point of the story is I do that a lot too, so no shame. But that is really, really frustrating, especially when it's like a really long video. I've definitely had that happen to me before. But let me know how y'all's sprint went. And then we can kind of wrap it up because it's 4:05 right now. So I'm probably going to hop off in a couple minutes, but I'm really glad that I kind of figured out the timer situation to like get it on the screen, because it was just so much easier than me having to keep track of how much time is left. And then I'm always getting pulled out of the story because I'm making sure that I didn't like accidentally go over the time, you know? So yeah, we're at 23 pages this time, getting to the part where it's definitely getting better for her. Thank you so much for the sprints. Of course, I'm glad this helped you make some progress, and I'm glad you're enjoying your book. Definitely let me know how it is once you finish because I would be interested to kind of hear your thoughts on it, especially with um, all that we talked about today. But just let me know. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. This was super fun. Thanks for keeping me company in my sick state. But if you are planning on reading for the rest of the evening and you want some more sprints, go check out Kirsten's channel. It's just Kirsten's Corner. I'll put it in the chat. Go check her out because we will be sprinting on her channel in 53 minutes. So more sprints to come your way. But other than that, thank you everyone. And I hope you have a good